What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. This is the VTOMAN 1500x. Is it really the best portable solar generator on the market? Well, in this unboxing, setup, test, and review video today, we're going to find that out. I'm going to preface this by saying this is not a paid review. They did not send me these products. These are ours that my family has gotten on our own. But I need to show this to you for two reasons. One, you guys know at Warrior House DIY, we're using a lot of power tools. And if those blades ain't turning, those dollars ain't earning. And we want to make sure that we can always be powering those. And two, my family has been through 2 hurricanes. We went through Hurricane Ian while we lived in Cape Coral, Florida. We had a generator for that. And we went through Hurricane Helene, where we live in the upstate of South Carolina, and we did not have a generator. In both of those scenarios, we were out of power for a significant number of days. Having a generator in Florida was great, except that there was looting taking place, and we didn't want to leave that out overnight. So what do? Well, we didn't have solar at the time. We wish we did. We lost a lot of food in those refrigerators that wouldn't hold temperature for those long of periods of time. What I do know is that you need power. Power is your lifeline. It is your family's safety. So whether it's preparing for hurricanes, there's still tornado season going on in the Midwest and the Plain States. There's ice storms coming this winter. There's EMPs coming according to whoever you talk to on the internet. But it doesn't really matter what the rumors say. The reality is that you will face a power outage at some point. How do you want to be prepared? If you're concerned about the security of your area and you don't want people to see a generator, solar is the way to go when it comes to that, in my opinion. And also, if you're looking to maybe just be a little bit more inconspicuous about your resources. Now for the million-dollar question, how powerful, how versatile really is this 1500x VTOMAN? Well, you're going to see the specs when we unbox it. We'll talk about all of the features and stuff like that. But when it comes down to brass tacks, what is this really going to do for you and your family? Stick around after the unboxing to see what we actually can draw off of this guy here. We're going to run the refrigerator, we're going to run the coffee maker, we're going to run an Instapot, we're going to see what it takes to really drain this guy down. The VTOMAN Jump 1500x, as you can see right there, we're pulling 828 watt hours, and it's a 1500 watt power inverter with up to 3000 watt surge capability. Right out of the gate, stickers. You got an accessory bag that comes with this kit, and it's going to have your AC adapter, your cigarette lighter adapter, and the other power cord in there, and then it's got USB-C, USB-A, and it comes in a nice pouch that's actually got a little bit of room if you maybe have a couple other cords that you want to throw in there. Very well packaged, as I might add. And okay, how heavy is this thing? One arm, not too bad, right? I believe they say it's 28 pounds. I'm not going to weigh it. It feels probably right around there. 30 pounds. Let's call it 30 pounds. Not too heavy. But let's see what we've got here. And on the Jump 1500, we have got the Jump stands for the jumper cables capability, which you've got that little port right there. I do not have the jumper cable adapter, so you won't be seeing that in this video. Extra battery port that's right over here. We do have the extended battery. Now that doesn't charge off of solar panels. That's only going to charge off of this guy right here. So you're going to have that hot cable, as they call it, that's going to connect those two units together, and then you can charge. What are you using to charge this thing? You've got your DC inputs. So you could be using the wall charger, the cigarette lighter charger, or in this case, we're going to be doing solar, and we're going to show you guys how that works. So take a quick break from the setup of this guy, and let's look at the solar. You got these little cool struts that pop out here, these jacks that pop out to stand this guy up. Probably see that. I'll move this over a little bit. When we got our unit together, we got the Jump 1500X with the 110 watt panel. Is that underpowered? Some may say that. Well, there are 2 DC inputs right there, and per the company's email response, yes, you absolutely can plug in 2 of these panels if you have a second 110 watt. You want them to be plugged in parallel, not in series. So you're going to want them each plugged in individually because you don't want to exceed the voltage rating or the wattage rating that's on there. Not going to get super technical. Don't exceed the recommendations from a manufacturer when it comes to voltage and wattage, right? This is your lifeline. This is your power. Let's get back to this panel really quick just to show you guys the 110 panel. As you fold it back up, got, again, a really nice built-in carrying pouch on there that's going to have your accessories in here, which is basically going to be your user manual and your cord. This is going to be hooking up with the MC4. There is a decent amount of cordage on here already, and then you're going to be plugging in one of your 3 options. In our case, we're going to be going DC on that guy. We'll be able to throw that other panel on there as well. So you can charge with 220 watts if you're using 2 of these panels or even another manufacturer. Again, make sure you know your voltage and your wattage output on those panels. Let's get back to this guy. We have got a DC cigarette lighter style out here. It's also got DC outputs on it as well. That's 12 volt, 10 amp. We've got 4 USB ports here. We're looking at 5 volt, 2.4 amp. The quick charge one is at the very bottom. There is a quick charge there for phones and things like that can take the quick charge. You got your 3 pure sine wave 110 60 hertz power outlets, the main outlets you're going to be using with your VTOMAN 1500x. So there you have it. Let's go ahead and get this guy powered on. Just hold a button simply for a couple seconds and it's powered on. You can turn all of these on. And there you have it. You got all 3 of these capable going, and it's going to show you DC is on. Turn it off right there. Type C is on. Turn it off right there. And then we've got AC over here. We're showing 83% capacity right out of the box. We're showing 0 watts drawn here because we're not drawing anything. Let's get this guy out into the sunlight. We got a little bit of an overcast day, so we're going to throw the panels on it. I'm excited to see what it's drawing. And while I'm doing that, let's check back in the kitchen and see where we're at on this guy running the refrigerator. All right, well, in our case, the refrigerator cord needs a little bit of an extension. Normally, I wouldn't recommend plugging in your refrigerator to an extension cord, but in this case, we're only going to be doing it for, what, maybe 8 to 12 hours, or I don't know, maybe longer. We'll find out. But first things first, we're going to go ahead and power on our unit, and we're just going to go with the AC there. We don't need to turn on any of these other ones, you know. As you can see, we are at 100% charge. I'll show you in just a couple minutes charging with the solar panels outside, running 70, 80 watts, about 2.5, 3 hours. We were able to get this thing charged up, but we are now at 100%, and we're gonna go ahead and plug this guy into the one here on the end. Leave that tucked out of the way so that it's not really in anybody's way. I don't know how long this is gonna be like this, but you can see that we're currently drawing 4 watts because the refrigerator is not actually doing anything. So let's see if we can't crack that open. Let's see if we got power first. Yep, there we go. You can see that we've got light in there now. We'll leave that freezer door open for a minute, try and get this thing to kick on and see what kind of draw we got going on here. All right, as you can see, the fridge turned on and now we are drawing about, what, 138, 140 watts. Obviously, it's not going to be running continuously at 114 to 140 watts, so it's saying 5.4 hours. But when this turns off, you know, we'll see what the draw is on here. Kind of like a battery backup for your computer if you have that. Sometimes it tells you you've got like 240 minutes. Next thing you know, it says 1,100 minutes, right? So we'll follow up later on and see how many hours it takes to drain the VTOMAN. It is hooked up to the solar panel. Actually, it's a lot sunnier than it was earlier today, so pretty much full sun. Couple clouds in the sky, moving in and out. But what are we drawing right now? Pretty impressive, actually. Let me see if I can get the light on here. Okay, you can see that we're flashing at 83%, 1.8 hours to go. We're fluctuating around 83, 86 watts right there. That's what we're pulling from this sun out of a 110 watt panel. So pretty good, actually. We'll see how long it takes to charge this guy up. It does have a pretty long cord, so we can pull it out into the shade if you have the ability to do that. But there you have it, guys. Taking free electricity right there. All right, here is the morning update for you. We are at 24% remaining, and this is at 9:15 in the morning. So we're actually, at this point, we're 15 hours on running this refrigerator. Again, at 4 watts, it would be 31 hours remaining. We just open the light on the refrigerator there. You'll see we're at another 8 watts there instead. So I'm actually curious as to how much the extension cord draws, so I'll test that out in a moment, because I'm actually going to unplug this and run this through a couple more tests with that last 24% that's on there. 15 hours on a normal full-size refrigerator, folks. That's actually pretty good. So let's take this thing out to the shop and run some more tests with like an Instapot and some stuff like that. All right, so after 15 hours on the refrigerator, we have drawn this thing down to a remaining balance of about 24% of this battery. Now that's from 6 p.m. to 9 a.m. the next morning. The sun's out. We can hook the solar panels back up. If we had this thing still plugged into the refrigerator, it would just be charging all day while it's running the refrigerator. But I figured, hey, we need to really beat this thing up and see what it's capable of. It's the morning, right? So we need to make some coffee, and we got to get the meal going in the Instapot to get lunch ready or something like that. If you're running a crock pot, you're going to be running a little bit longer throughout the day. If you're in a disaster scenario, hurricane scenario, storm outage, EMP, whatever, if this thing's EMP proof like most people say it is, you're going to probably going to go with something like an Instapot or a quick pressure cooker, something like that. That's not going to take all day and slow cook, right? Because it's not going to run as long. But let's go ahead and fire this guy up. Let's do real world usage right now. Here, we'll power this guy on. Okay, so we're going to be sitting at 24%. Coffee maker is plugged in. Instapot is plugged in. I will say that there's only going to be minimal draw. You're going to see we're at, what, 3 watts. That's just the cords. Nothing's powered on at this point. I did hook up a longer extension cord to the refrigerator, simulating that it was completely removed outside from the house, hooked up to solar panels. That was a 100-foot cord, and we were at an 8-watt draw when the refrigerator is not running. So not too bad, really, right? You're looking at, what, 25 hours with 24% battery. All right, let's go ahead and start the Instapot here. We're going to go ahead and throw this guy on saute for, well, let's just say 15 minutes. Normally, when you're doing an Instapot recipe, you got a little saute in the beginning and you get going. So it's on right now, and we're starting to draw. You can see 950, 960 watts. It's saying we got 0.2 hours of runtime at that rate, which is 0.2 hours of runtime is going to be less than the 15 minutes that we need on this guy, right? But hey, we want to make a cup of coffee while we're waiting for that. So got our K-cup in there. Now let's really see. Here's the deal, guys. 1500 watt power inverter, but a 3000 watt surge capability. So let's see what we can draw off of this guy now. Here we are, 1800, 1500, 1600. The fan's kicked on, as you can hear that. We're about 1500 watts of draw, 21% battery, and we're saying we've got 0.1 of an hour to go, which should be more than enough time to make this cup of coffee and see what's going on with the Instapot over here. You see our percentage is dropping pretty quick. We're at 13%, 0.1 hours still. And that's running both. 12%. 4%. Here comes our coffee. 2% left to go. Come on. We might not be eating, but we'll be drinking coffee. You can see that the wattage has dropped significantly now that we're running the coffee and not heating water anymore. We're at 1100, and the Instapot is actually calming down just a little bit as well. It still says 0.1 of an hour, 1100 watts on this guy. So we're already dropping down 940. Coffee maker's almost done at this point. I'm going to stop it at 1%. Get that guy unplugged. Get that guy unplugged. All right, let's get that powered off so the fan goes off. Guys, while this unit cools down, we're going to talk about this a little bit. So what did we just accomplish? Well, we have 15 hours of the refrigerator. I'd say without hooking the solar panels back up, that's a pretty big win in and of itself. We were able to make a pot of coffee. We were able to get the Instapot started up. And had we had a little bit more juice, that thing would have just sat there drawing a residual power while it's holding that saute temperature. You know, again, like if you're familiar with Instapot, right, they're going to build up to a certain point and then just rest for a while there, not continuing to draw a lot of power. So a good option, maybe a smaller one might be a little bit better to use if you're in a disaster type scenario or power down type scenario. Just being able to go overnight and still fire off the coffee maker the next morning is a huge plus. I'd say this is substantial enough for our family, for our needs in power down situations. We're going to be recharging it throughout the day as long as we got sun. But as you saw earlier on in the video with overcast, we're still drawing, you know, anywhere between 10 and 20 watts on those panels. So we got a second panel coming. But the other thing that we've done is that we've got the extended battery for this guy. And so I'm not showing you that in this video for the simple fact that we really wanted to just get through the 1500X. Now there's links down below. I will say this is not a paid promotion video, but those are Amazon affiliate links. So if you decide to buy one from one of those links, my family will earn a small commission. But with those links, you're going to see the exact unit that we got, which is the 1500X with the 110 watt solar panel. And that's one setup that Amazon sells. I'll leave the links for everything else. And obviously while you're down there, feel free to leave a comment, what your family's been through, what your family's preparing for, what are you guys doing, and give us a like. Give us a subscribe if you haven't done so already. If you've gained some value from this video, stick around and see what else we've got coming. But I wish your family a bunch of safety and all the best in your solar power endeavors. We'll see you in the next video. Thanks for watching.